Hello everybody, this is Joe Workman, and today I'd like to introduce you to the third generation of the new cycler stack. With the latest version 3 update of the cycler stack, it has really become one of the most powerful and versatile sliders out there. Let me show you why. When you add cycler to your stacks page, you'll notice like most stacks, there's a drop area to add things. Now if you're familiar with the previous versions of cycler, there used to be the concept of slides, where you'd have to define the number of slides. All that has been thrown out the window. If you want slides, all you simply need to do is drag and drop stacks directly into cycler. And like magic, I have created 3 slides within cycler. Now this is great because now we are not limited to a certain number of slides. You can add as many slides as you like within cycler. Another great benefit is if I want to make this particular slide on the top, all I have to do is drag it up. So slide reordering is now a cinch. Now cycler does work fully functional out of the box. So as you see, all I've done is added a few images for slides. And if we preview our web page, we'll notice that we have a fully functional slider. Now another feature that really sets cycler apart from everything else is that I can handle more than just images. Since Stacks has some great layout tools, why not utilize those? So as we see here, I've really enriched my content by having not only images, but by adding 2 columns with a header, some text, and then the images over here. And if we preview that, it works perfectly. So now that we're not limited to just images, you can really expand your horizons in what you can include within your banners. Another great thing that cycler does is that it really leverages the out-of-the-box stack settings. If you want a background or border or rounded corners on your slider, all you have to do is use the default stack settings to do that. So as we see, I've added a tiled background image, I've added a slight border, as well as some rounded corners and a little bit of padding so that there's some spacing between the slides and the edge of the slider. Now what's great is we just built a beautiful slider and I haven't touched any of the cycler settings at all. All of this is done with the out-of-the-box stack settings. So let's have a look at the cycler settings to see really how we can unharness some of its power. Under the cycler layout settings, we have the ability to make the cycler slide a fixed height. We can also add a drop shadow, which really makes our slider stand out. Now, if you're going to add a drop shadow, you're going to want to make sure that you increase your stack margin just a tad so that the shadow doesn't get cut off. There's also a collapse in edit mode setting that allows you to really just preview exactly what your slider is going to look like within edit mode. Now under cycler slide transitions, there are a large number of effects out of the box that you can choose from. Now if you click on Advanced Effects Settings, you'll see that there are a lot of great settings to really customize the effect to your liking. We have things such as start at slide numbers, how long do you want to pause at the slides, and animation speeds in and animation speeds out, and really some great easing options. Now these are going to be a lot of fun for you to play with. Let me show you one of my favorites to start off with. It's called Ease Out Bounce. Now you notice the Ease Out Bounce effect really adds to our effect and gives us that nice bounce effect. There are tons of really these add-on effects to our main effect that really can make your slideshow and your slider pop on your website and really stand out. So the next thing that we might want to add to cycler are navigation arrows so that our users can navigate from slide to slide. To do that, click on Show Nav Arrows. And you'll notice in edit mode that we already have default navigation arrows displayed for us. Now in the settings available here, we really have a lot of flexible control on positioning of these arrows. So do we want the arrows to be inside of the slider? Do we want them to reside outside? Do we want them on the top and the bottom or the left and the right? Okay, there are really a lot of options here. And you can also provide your own custom navigation arrows where you can drag your own navigation sprite and define the width and height of each arrow so that you can really customize this to be your own. Now, Cycler ships with a ton of great assets already built into the Stax Media Library for you. If you go to our Stax Media Library, you notice that we have a default set of bullets and navigation arrows, both horizontal and vertical, to choose from. These are professionally designed images that are ready to be displayed on all your Retina devices. Another thing that's great is if you want to use these, the width and height settings are baked into the image name for you. So to use any of these, you just select the one that you want and drag it into the navigation sprite. And that's all it takes to add great navigation to your Cycler. Now, a quick hint, if you want to have your navigation arrows outside of your Cycler, then you're probably going to have to increase the stack margins on the left and right sides to about the same size as the actual navigation arrows. This way they won't get cut off. Now, out of the box, Cycler supports both keyboard navigation as well as touch navigation for mobile devices. Now, if you would like to customize the way Cycler does these navigation elements, you can actually customize it within the navigation settings as well. So the last thing that we need to add to Cycler is the pager. And we have some great options available here for you. We have the ability to have numbers, custom CSS bullets, and your own custom image bullets. Now you have full control over the entire style elements of your pager. For numbers, we can change the size, the borders, the background colors, the text shadows. Do you want to add a drop shadow to it, right? For CSS bullets, we have full customizations over the background color, the active color, the hover color, some really great offsets, some rounded corners. Do we want them round circles or do we want them squares? Okay, so we can really tailor to the look and feel of our website. Now, just like the arrow navigation, when you select image bullets, you have the ability to add your own bullet sprites into the Cycler stack. Now, Cycler again has provided a whole bunch of out-of-the-box ones for you to utilize that reside within the Stax Media Library that we saw earlier. Now, one feature that is common across all the pager elements is the elaborate positioning system. Again, not only like the navigation arrows can you move the bullets to the outside of the stack or a little bit up or down or to the left or to the right or whatever, you can actually position them in over 10 positions throughout Cycler. Now, commonly you'll have them at the bottom right-hand corner. But what if you'd like to have them, yes, on the right side, but actually going vertically? Okay? And as you see, there are tons of available options here to where you actually want to place your navigation bullets. Now, before we go, I wanted to show you the actual responsive feature set within Cycler. And what's great is you have to do absolutely nothing to enable it. It just works. So if we look at this web page, we'll notice that as we resize the browser, the Cycler actually dynamically adjusts to the width of the browser. Now, ultimately, this is done by placing responsive content within Cycler. So let's have a quick look on how this page was created. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail here, but Cycler in itself is a great responsive container. However, even though the container itself, the Cycler container itself, is responsive, if you want the content of Cycler to actually respond as well to the width of the browser, you have to add responsive content to it. Therefore, in the sample that we just saw, I used my responsive layout 2-column stack, a fluid image stack in the first column, and text in the next column. What this allows us to do is once the Cycler stack compresses down to an iPhone level, to a very narrow browser, instead of having 2 columns, we saw it actually shrank down to a single column so that the text was actually below the image. So this is how we accomplish responsive content within Cycler. So I really hope you enjoy Cycler. I hope it's going to be a stack that you use in every single one of your web projects. I know that I love it, and I know you'll love it too. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.